Welcome back, everybody, to the Rec Room podcast with Bryan Rector, and today, Katie Shanahan, who I'm really excited to interview. This here is episode 38 of the Rec Room. Katie is somebody who will be a team captain next season at Quinnipiac Field Hockey, plays center back out there in the Big East Conference, native of Falmouth, Massachusetts, has her own business called KS Elite Training, which features a merch line and offers instruction in field hockey to over 70 athletes. And additionally to that, hot off the press, was just at AthleteCon led by Sam Green down in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, Katie, first off, welcome to the Rec Room. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you
I'm
for having
so
me.
good. Absolutely. Of course. Of course. And I am doing really good. Excited to interview you. I want to ask, as we're just getting into this thing, like talk a little bit about the moment that you spent down in Charlotte and what an event like AthleteCon means to the space that is just beginning to develop right now, the content creation, the athlete marketing space that we'll be chatting about today.
I got into NIL my going into my freshman year at Quinnipiac, and I think it's really taken off. I was fortunate enough to go down to AthleteCon by Sam Green. So when we got down there, we met our roommate. My roommate plays hockey at Cal Berkeley, so that was really cool meeting her. So I kind of hung out with her the whole weekend, and throughout the weekend we met new people. We actually met Livy Dunn as well, which was super cool. Like I think she's amazing. Like I mean, everyone thinks she's amazing, but I actually had the chance to speak with her for um, a few minutes on the rooftop bar that we were at the welcome party, and she was super personable and interested in, I guess, what I was saying, which was super cool because I guess when you're a big like famous person, you I guess like from the outside when you look at like big famous people, you're like, oh my gosh, like they would never talk to me, but she was super interested, and I had some player cards as well that I had signed, and I gave her one. She actually put it in her purse, so we'll see. I don't know if she still has it, but it was cool. But yeah, we learned from Meta, Snapchat. There's a lot of brands that were there as well. So, I mean, we learned so much just in the presentations with that Sam hosted, all the people she hosted, but we also met so many great people. I connected with a lot of athletes, big schools, small schools, Division 1, Division 2, 3. So overall, I'd say AthleteCon was great because not only did you learn from brands and just like super, I guess, knowledgeable experts, but also the people that you met when you were there. And Sam did a great job setting that up for everyone. Yeah, so I'd never really been to an event like that, I guess, for NIL. So I thought it was awesome. I've learned a lot. I learned a lot, and I started implementing that stuff, and I've actually gained more followers, more likes, more views. So it goes to show that it actually does work, and like the things that people were saying to us actually did work. It wasn't just like, oh, like we're just telling you what we like our opinion. It was there was actually facts behind it, and there was a brand that was there with analytics of social media, and we all got 3 free months of it, so you can like hook up all your accounts, and it's called Root Note, and you can go on and you can see how all your accounts are doing and like all the posts. So yeah.
Most certainly. Actually, you know what's super cool is I just sat down a couple days ago on Friday with one of the co-founders of RootNote, Jason Burkhardt. So shout out Jason. That dude is
He was
killing
there.
it. Okay, well, funny enough. Um, that's so funny. Oh my gosh, Katie. It's a small world. It's a small
It is.
world. Jason just moved to Portland, so I was over there for a friend's like send off thing, and we got connected. And I go, I'll be over there. Would you mind meeting up? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, what? Okay, great. Here we go. With that being said, Katie, I've got to know because there, as you touched on, like there are so many different elements to this thing, the creation space, the analytics that you've got to read and react to if you want to grow. the types of brands you can contact, the people that are driving this thing. Like, what has the learning curve been for you, and how steep is it to try and digest all of this? Because it's only a few years into what will be around, I'm sure, for a long time to come.
Yeah, I'd say it was a pretty steep learning curve when I first started because you're trying to, first of all, figure out what NIL really is, and you're trying to connect with brands. Went to businesses. I went to like my local like ice cream shop, fudge shop. Like I got an NIL deal there, and whenever you'd go and ask, they would just say they'd be like NIL, like we have no idea what you're talking about. There's a positive side to it and a negative side because a lot of businesses would be like, yeah, sure, like I don't care, like I'll just sign off. And I was like, okay, this is great. Like they give me gift cards, I'd represent them, or they'd give me money um, to represent them. But other times, I think it was definitely hard at the start when you'd go to a place and you try to explain it to them and they just have no interest and be like, no, no, like money, college athletes, like we don't want any part of it. We don't want to be associated with it. And I'd say at Quinnipiac, like in smaller schools, there's not a lot of people that do NILs. So I'd say it was kind of hard to like find people that I could connect with on campus and be like, okay, like we should like do this together, like collab. Like I'd have my best friend Ella, my freshman year, she would video me, like take photos of me. I'd be like, Ella, can you please like I need stuff to post on my social media, and like she's great, she would do whatever. Um, I guess that was just kind of the learning curve is that it was so new. And also, you kind of had to figure out what platforms to go through and what ones didn't really work. So there's things like there's Mogul, Post Game, Market Price, and I guess what you have to do is you have to make your social media presentable where brands can go on, look, and be like, okay, like we want her to represent us. Because you're on some of the platforms, you don't really apply for them. The market price, they just reach out to you, or like on post game, some of the deals they'll reach out. So like I've had like CVS, I've had Gillette Venus, I have Adidas. So some of those they'd reach out because they'd be like, oh, like we like what's on your social media. Here you can represent us kind of thing. So I'd say like just trial and error of learning what platforms work, ones don't, and then what platforms are more so like we want people that have 20,000 followers. And you're like, okay, well, then
Mm-hmm.
that's not me. So I guess the content quality over followers, I think matters more. And I can confidently say that I think my content can match up with someone that has 10,000, 20,000 followers. Even though they do have more followers, they might go to a larger school. I have the, I guess, ability to create content, and well, they do as well. But I have the ability to create quality content even though I may not have the large following. So
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings up an interesting point, which I appreciate you for touching on, is like you being a member of a field hockey, a sport that is growing but is on the smaller revenue sharing threshold, and being in a conference that's relatively small, being at a university that isn't always seen as a top flight athletic program in the eyes of the rest of the country. Like, has there been any moments where you thought that there was reason to have some doubt, or that you couldn't go and get these deals, you couldn't advocate for yourself? And what was it like, if there was a time like that, to break through it and to say, no, I can get to this point where my content is as good, it can match up with anybody else out
um well, I guess I haven't directly reached out to just brands, not through platforms, and had that issue, I guess. But on so post game, actually, some of their deals you can only apply for if you go to school A, B, C, D, E, or F. So they'll like kind of like they'll be like, oh, if you don't go to Texas A&M, Georgia, and they'll like write it down, and I get so annoyed. I'm like, are we being serious right now? Like, but other than that, I'd say like, yeah, playing field hockey and being at a smaller school, I think people would be like, oh, like how are you gonna get any deals? Like, and I've had 18 NIL deals, so I think I've definitely proved people wrong.
Mhm.
Um, my friend at Quinnipiac, nickname's AK. He's on the men's basketball team. Um, he had been following my social media accounts, and last year he had come up to me and asked me about my NIL deals, and I kind of like gave him like a quick rundown of like you need to go on these platforms, like try it out. And a lot of times my friends will be like, "Oh, like I want to do NIL." I'll be like, "Okay." And half the time they like never do it or like, which is fine. Some
Mm.
people just don't really like. I don't know. They just do a lot of talking and not a lot of doing, I guess. So he had asked me and I told him and I didn't really expect him to, I guess, take off with it. And he has around like 10,000 followers. He did have a pretty large following, but he has done a lot of deals that I've done actually. Like we share some of them, and then I have a thought that I think that post game only lets one of us do some of the deals, so they'll give
Mm.
it to like one of us rather than having both of us at Quinnipiac. So I like joke with them. I'll be like, get off my app or something, but it's just like a joke. But yeah, he's great. I think we're gonna collab on some stuff as well. So I think I mean, seeing him being like a basketball player, sometimes I'm like if I or like I'll say it, I'll be like, if I was a basketball player, like I could get so like, but honestly, I don't know how true that is, and I think that I am doing well. Like, not none of the women's basketball players that I know of do like big deals, so I don't know. I honestly can't really compare myself to I guess other sports because at my school because there's not a lot of kids that do them. So I think my friend AK and I are pretty similar, but he does play basketball, so he sometimes does get bigger deals, which is good for him, but um yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I understand absolutely, and I think like it's an interesting conversation about the levels that you can achieve within this space. Like, would you say that you have a desire to grow to be 100,000, to be 50,000? Like, what are your end goals as it relates to being in this space for the next couple of years while you're still a collegiate athlete?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that the other day about kind of where I am. Like, yeah, I've done 18 NIL deals, but my main goal I'd say is I I want a big deal. Like I
Mm,
want a deal that I'm not running around like I mean, I like doing the small deals. It's great. Like I'll keep doing them gladly, but like kind of like what Livy Dunn has where she has the Viore and like she just had like a big deal and then like she was kind of set. I think it would be cool to represent a big deal like I don't know, like Gatorade, Lululemon, be like one of the main sponsors for Adidas. We're an Adidas school. I think that's my main goal, like for brand wise for NIL, is get a big deal and kind of like start to weed out the smaller ones because it is a lot. If I have 5 deals going at once and I'm trying to create stories, posts, reels, it's can be a lot. So I don't know if that opportunity came across, then I would definitely take take up on that. But I definitely do want to grow my following. Consistency with posting is definitely key to doing that, and you're not going to become viral overnight. Even people that post every day may never become viral. So I guess I'm trying to do things and post things that you wouldn't really see. Like a lot of people post like day in their lives, like that's cool and all, but I mean, a lot of people do that nowadays, so I feel like it's less people are like, "Oh, like I want to go watch that." So what I'm doing currently is posting field hockey training videos, either
mm, mm.
I'll pick like one skill to do and then I'll like caption like in the post what it is like on a screen and then I write like in the caption exactly what it is, what to focus on. And I've been getting a lot of views, like shares. The other day I had a video that had um 300 shares, I think, on TikTok. Thank you. So I guess I'm trying to do stuff that's not as common and stuff that people are like younger athletes or um, other college athletes are looking for. Like I know my teammates will sometimes ask me, or all the kids I coach will ask me to send them stuff. So I guess I just post it there, and then that's my goal of how I'm gonna gain more followers. And
Mm,
so I've cross post as well. So you post on TikTok, post on Instagram, and then you collab. So yeah, I guess that's my goal. I'd like to get a lot of followers. I don't have an exact number that I'd like to get,
sure.
but I mean I'm I don't know. I'd be happy with 5,000, 10,000. I don't know if I'll get to 100,000 maybe one day.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Well, and it's all incremental, right? I mean, like you said, this is a process that's continuing. I think one of the parts that you mentioned about breaking it up and the monotony of posting the thing that you see everybody post, right? And just beating it down with a broom, you're kind of going out there and saying, what do I have uniquely that I'm able to post and expose a different portion of what I do or a different piece of the space? And I think that's a great thought, Katie, because there's a difference between a contributor to the space and a disruptor of the space, right? Is like bringing a new element to this thing. Which also, by the way, is a great segue into the training that you do with athletes. I know we were talking before we got the podcast started about KS Elite, your training space for field hockey athletes, that now has over, you said, 70 athletes that are a part of it. Talk to me about the beginnings to KS Elite and what has it meant to be able to give back in that way where you're teaching the next generation, you're coaching, understanding the game that you play from a different lens.
yeah, so during COVID or 2020, everything kind of got shut down, and um, there was no sports. Like obviously, there was nothing really going on, no school, and um, I at the time was nannying two girls, Lauren and Caroline Shear, and they're now in high school. They're so old now, which is sad, but I still coach them. So, um, but I had been nannying them at the time, and like we were looking for things to do to like fill our time. Like we were wearing masks, like it was nuts. And I had a shooting area in my basement because I started with soccer or started with golf. That I still played golf in high school. I was like my team's captain, but
Okay,
um,
wow. Weird flex, but okay. We might need to circle back to that.
and ice hockey I was as well. Um, I started with golf was my first sport, then soccer. I was a big soccer player. I decided, there's more opportunities in field hockey. My love had changed. I switched to field hockey. Um, and then I was also playing ice hockey. I started ice hockey when I was 10, and I played club teams. I traveled around the whole country with my parents. Well, my parents and I traveled around the whole country. So I was kind of between the two, I'd say, for a little bit. I was like, like I was playing club ice hockey and club field hockey. Like I was going to nationals for field hockey. I was going to nationals for hockey. It was like an in between kind of thing. Oh, yeah. But then, so basically, I had a shooting area in my basement, big shooting net, tarps or synthetic ice. So we did like shooting down there. And then the girls, I guess, they'd asked me, or I'd ask them, do you guys want to play any other sports ever? Because they just played hockey, and I was like, you guys gonna play another sport? And they're both like, no, no, never. Like hockey's our life. I'm like, once you guys play it enough, you guys will be like, I want to do something else. Like I'm getting tired of tired. They're like, well, I don't know, maybe we'll get tired of it. I'm like, no, you probably will. Like you can't only play one sport year round. And their parents were also like, we need to do something else. So my parents had or my dad had installed a turf in my basement with netting. Like it wasn't anything super fancy, just literally like a net that hung from the ceiling and turf. And I would shoot down there. Like I'd go down there for hours throughout COVID, like 2020. I was down there every day for hours just playing field hockey. Like I was on Jennifer Gardner's Instagram story one day. She posted me on her Instagram story and was like, "Love how hard this kid's working." It was so cool to be on her Instagram story. But um yeah, so then I had the field hockey area, and those were my first two that I started to teach, and I was like, or coach, I was like, I could kind of like get into this, like, and the word kind of started to spread, like, oh, Katie's coaching field hockey. I was like, oh, am I? Like, I guess I'm coaching field hockey now. So then my first summer, I had probably like 6 kids. That was it. Um, Ever since that, I've continued to grow. Like, it was pretty slow at the start. Like, I had six. The next summer, or like I coached throughout the winter. Like I'd get home from school, I'd coach some kids, or on the weekends I'd coach. And then I think it really started to kick up when I was going to my freshman year of college. I had around like 20 girls, and I was like, okay, like I'm kind of getting bigger. And then once like my NIL, like I started to really get into NIL going that freshman year, and I was like, yeah, like I started to post a lot, and people found out that I was doing lessons. And um this year I um bought an LLC. I have insurance, so I'm like licensed and legal. So that's good. But yeah, so now I have well, this May I started with 40 athletes, and right now I have 75. So I guess my name spread pretty quick around here, but I actually have a waiting list right now for lessons. I can't take anyone else. I have a summer league, so I'm just telling all the kids to go there, but I am packed because I mean I go back to school beginning of August. I'm going to
Mm.
Amsterdam to train at the end of July. Um
Okay, wow.
yeah.
Wow. Taking the brand international. What's going on in Amsterdam?
Um I'm going with some alumni from my club field hockey team where we have like a whole team that's going. It was my graduating year, so we all play college field hockey, and we're going out to train there for 7 days. We're playing some Dutch teams. We have practice training sessions. We're gonna explore Amsterdam, so that'll be a little like preseason for me. So yeah, it should be fun and competitive.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. Have you been out of the country before? Have you played out of the country? What is that like?
I've never played or been out of the country. Well, just to Canada, but
Sure.
no, I think it'll be super cool. I mean, eventually, I've been thinking that I might want to go play internationally after college. So, I think this could be a good, like, just look at what it could be like. And I mean, they have crazy field hockey stadiums out there, and like,
Mm,
so their football in Amsterdam is field hockey, so it's pretty big out there. Yeah, should be
I
fun.
see. I see. What do you think about the way that the sport of field hockey is capable of growing in America? Have you thought about whether it's increasing, what it looks like to keep growing the thing? I know women's sports have grown at a tremendous level. There's been a surge of viewership and eyes and participation the last couple of years, but with field hockey particularly, do you have any thoughts about the future of the sport here?
Yeah, I think it's continuing to grow. Internationally, they have these fields that are called AstroTurf fields, which a lot of Division 1 teams have them. Some training facilities have them, and that's kind of where other countries are, I guess, building more. I think because we don't have. I mean, in my town and on Cape Cod, the closest AstroTurf field to me is at least an hour. So that's what I play on at school, and the fields here are completely different. They have the beads, and I'm sure you've seen the field hockey field at Michigan State, but yeah, it's the beads make the field super slow. Like, so I'd say that um for it to continue to grow in the United States, there's going to need to be a little more, I guess, funding put into field hockey fields in general to be able to compete to be able to compete at a high level, and then for like the USA team to be like more competitive, I guess. But I think that it will definitely continue to grow. I know there's a lot of youth programs around here, and well, there's Cape Cod Field Hockey Club, which I grew up playing for. And I also coach for her growing up. So I'd say that the youth programs are what's driving the growth of field hockey because a lot of kids are just joining field hockey when they get to the high school as like third sport in the fall kind of thing. So it's competitive, but it's kind of just like multi-sport athletes that are picking it up and are good at it. So
Mm.
I'd
Mhm.
say that it'll definitely continue to grow as well as long as youth programs keep building, and there's multiple across the United States. Like Pennsylvania is super big on field hockey. They have this club called WC Eagles, and they have their own training facility in AstroTurf Field, and that's a big like funnel down there. New Jersey, Pennsylvania for field hockey girls. Like a lot of those girls came from there and are on the national team now. So um, I'd say that's a pretty big funnel. And up here in Massachusetts, we need to definitely invest in more AstroTurf fields around. And I don't know, maybe one day I could own a big facility, but we'll see. In the works.
Certainly, certainly. Yeah, you'll laugh at this, but this is true. When I came from Oregon to Michigan State, I saw the field for the first time and went, "What is that? Like what plays here? Like, come on now, that's crazy." But I understand that that's just a regional difference, right? On the East Coast, it's a major, major thing. What is your level of familiarity with what's happening at North Carolina with Aaron Matson being a 24-year-old head coach, and what good are stories like this for the sport?
Yeah, I think it's super cool. I definitely look up to her, and um I think it's super impressive that she's like the go-to field hockey, and
Hmm.
for her to go from being the best to play to then the coach is pretty cool. I mean, people say like, "Oh, she should have just stayed and played." She should have just waited and gone and played on the national team, kind of thing. So I don't know. People go back and forth, but I don't know. I think it's cool that she's the coach and she went to win a national championship like the following year, that year. So I mean, I read some articles about how I mean the girls that she was coaching on the team were some of her best friends that she was going to be coaching. So there was a story about how she had to like quote unquote like she got a new phone. She got rid like she wasn't using her personal phone and now has like a work number, or like how like she it was like how she was switching over to being their coach and now she was coach, not Aaron, kind of thing. So I think that's super interesting. And I mean, I think it's cool that she would do that. I feel like there'd be a lot of people that would be like, "Oh, well, I don't want to coach my best friends. Like, I'm not gonna like, I won't have, they won't want to be my friends anymore." Like, but I don't know, she just is a go getter and she went after her dreams, so it's good for her. Yeah.
Certainly. And in fact, you cannot stop a go-getter. Which brings me to the next point, Katie, is like you, after having this upcoming season, will be your junior year at Quinnipiac, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, how much thought have you given to what's coming next after the thing? Even though there's still 2 years left, you and I both know that those years are going to fly by. So, where is your mindset at with what's to come after being done with school?
Yeah, I have a lot of goals for what I want to do after school, I think, but I guess we'll kind of see where it takes me. I'm a health science studies major, and I have goals of being like pharmaceuticals rep or medical device sales field, but um I think that that could always wait. And if I get my degree and I'm not ready to go into that right away, then I should do something that I definitely want to do, and I shouldn't rush into it. I think I've definitely thought about becoming a college coach somewhere for a few years. My only worry with that is that if I like it, then I'll never not, like I'll never leave.
I see. Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe like volunteer assistant. I could get my master's somewhere.
Mm.
Um,
Hmm.
maybe somewhere in Mass would be good. If I did that for a year, and then I mean, I've been going back and forth with what I want to do. I think there's definitely a need for a facility in Massachusetts and on the Cape that could house athletes. Like, I think a facility that would have like recovery stuff, ice baths, saunas, have like physical therapy, a strength trainer, personal training for each sport. I think that would, I guess, that's what's needed here. I don't know. I'm going back and forth between everything I want to do, but I think overall, I mean, 2 years is a lot of time, and I really want to focus on that and being with the team, and because I think I'll definitely miss it when I graduate. And I've had some of my closest friends just graduated, and it was definitely a like bittersweet moment seeing them have to leave, and but also they accomplished a lot. So I think it was cool to see that, but they definitely miss it. I mean, if once you finish your fall season, you don't train with the team in the spring. And my friend Kay would call me every day and she'd be like, okay, what happened today? And I'd go through the whole thing. She's like, well, I miss you guys. And she actually came to do the run test with us at,
Oh,
at the end of the spring. She always ran with me, and I told her I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to do the run test without you, Kate. And she's like, ah, you'll be fine. And then she had told our coach that she was coming, and it was so awesome. So yeah, I definitely don't want to rush it and just enjoy the process, I guess. And be with the team. I mean, we have big goals. We want to win the Big East. Like we want to make it far. So we have the team to do it this year, and I think we can. So yeah.
well, Katie Shanahan, thank you so much for joining in the Rec Room, episode 38. I appreciate your time. And before we go, I'm curious, how would you feel about doing a rapid fire segment that I've been pioneering?
Of course.
Cool, cool, cool. So, folks, without further ado, this is Rolling Loud on the Rec Room, episode 38. We've been doing Rolling Loud since episode 16. Shout out Cami Miner, volleyball setter at Stanford University. But with that being said, Katie, I've got to ask. We've talked a little bit about Massachusetts. We've talked about the Cape. If you could describe your hometown in a sentence or less, what would it be?
My hometown is the ultimate like beach town, smoothies, ice cream, tourists. Like it's just so much fun, and yeah, there's always so many people. There's 13 beaches. It's great. There's always something to do outside. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. What does the greatest off day with Katie Shanahan look like?
So I like off days, but I'd always start with a workout, even if it's my off day. So I like going to spin class. I go to Bespoke and Mashpee. So I'd start there. Then I'd head back to the house, make breakfast. I'd go to get ready for the beach. I'd go to the beach probably all day. I love the beach. Um, I'd come home. We have a pool. I'd go swimming in the pool. I'd probably go out get dinner at Taco Blanco, my favorite place. And then I'd probably go out for maybe some golf as well. So, and then I'd go get ice cream at Somerset Creamery. That would be my ideal off day with some
Oh
friends
yeah.
as well,
Oh yeah.
of course.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
great stuff. Uh, and then the last thing I have for you is if, or actually, rather, how would you describe your coaching style?
I would describe my coaching style as I'd say there's a few words. I'd say I'm definitely tough on the girls because I know their potential and I see myself in a lot of them. So I'd say I definitely challenge them. I give them challenging stuff. If it's easy, then we're probably not going to be doing it. So I tell the girls that if it's easy, then we're not going to get better. We got to push ourselves. So I'd say I'm challenging. I'd say I'm a lot of fun as well. Like, um, the girls always love coming to train with me. I get texts from parents all the time. I feel like a soccer mom. Like, there's parents always texting me. Um, but the parents will text me and be like, "Oh, she had so much fun." Um, I'd say that, and then challenging, fun, and then uh, I'd say that I always join in as well. So I wouldn't be having my kids do something that I wouldn't do as well. So more than half the time, I have my stick and my turf shoes on too, and I'm doing it as well. So yeah.
Oh, did I just turn more red? I think I did. That was hilarious. That's Sandy. Oh my goodness. Katie Shanahan, thank you so much for being here on the Rec Room, episode 38. I do have one more thing. If there's anyone that you'd like to shout out or acknowledge for where you're at in your journey, the floor is yours right now.
Okay, I definitely would like to shout out my parents. I feel like, and my brother as well. I feel like they have been supporting me the whole way through this journey, and um, from getting me set up with the turf, and then they come to all my games. They send me messages. I call them before every game, after every game. So I definitely say my parents overall, and definitely my coaching staff as well at school, and all my teammates. Everyone's just super fun to be around, and my coaches, Nina Khan, she gave me the opportunity to play for Quinnipiac, so I want to thank her as well. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, folks, Quinnipiac, content creation, smoothies, the cake, coaching, all things that run synonymous with my guest, Katie Shanahan, episode 38 on the Rec Room. Katie, you're awesome. It's been great getting to hear your story and been able to connect with you and appreciate your time. And that's it for us as the Rec Room rolls on. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.